Alexis. I have to confess, my first impression of you in advisory and pre-cal of your junior year was how intimidated I felt by your quietness. I just couldn't quite get a good read on the reserved young woman in front of me. It was obvious you were a dedicated and motivated student who cared about her learning, her grades, and what her teachers thought. One-on-one, you were more outspoken about your goals and passions, clearly had a great sense of humor and a love of adventure. But what else was going on in that head of yours? I'm not sure you knew either, and I was puzzled by the student who I thought had so much to offer others. It was your first semester self-reflection when the pieces started to fall into place. When asked how you would achieve your goal of success in pre-cal, you wrote, "Learn math and sass Miss Kelly as much as I can." I'd like to formally let you know, mission accomplished. But this statement told me everything I needed to know about you and who you were. You were both the quiet, serious student and the outspoken, fun-loving young woman, and you needed to be both parts. Over the next year, as you worked out the right proportion, you became a more settled, confident, and self-aware version of yourself. And I am so excited to see where your next adventure takes you. But don't be afraid to pop by my office every so often. Congratulations, JoJo.
I've got a tricky grammar question for you, profe. As a comment I heard at least once a class and more if I was lucky when Marcus was there. Whatever zany activity I had going on that day, Marcus would match it with a cool, clear vision and would gain momentum as he understood more over time. Marcus's approach to class with me is, I think, representative of how he goes through life, consistently observing all the goings-on and then asking more specific vocabulary and grammar-related questions once he understands the general idea. Not one to pass up an intellectual challenge, his time in Spanish ended with a project in which he and a friend brought to physical life one of his favorite games for the whole class to play. As he guided his unsuspecting peers on an increasingly complex journey, Marcus led with a mix of calm, confident direction and uncompromising bemusement unique to him. Take this perspective with you everywhere, Marcus, and the world will surely be better for it. Congratulations, Marcus Warner.
This past year, Teshi and I started to meet somewhat regularly during lunch. We talked about college applications, of course, but we often talked about other things, classwork, TV shows, prom, and we came around back to college again. Over the course of the year, I started to notice this funny little catchphrase that Teshi will use. When she's finishing a thought, she says, "But it's whatever." I'm not sure what the origin of this little phrase is, but Teshi, I don't believe you. It's not just whatever. With Teshi, it's about standing up for yourself, your peers, your community. It's about being a leader, whether you do so as the elected student body president or how you lead quietly by example, which you often do. At Howard next year, Teshi plans to major in community development and international business with her ultimate goal of helping underserved communities gain access to education, healthcare, and entrepreneurship opportunities. This is no small task. This is not just whatever. Teshi, the IACS community will miss you immensely next year. Go out and change the world, but come back and visit me for lunch.
Malcolm, you told me once that nobody understands how hard you work. That's probably true, and it's the mark of your success. Think of the dancer soaring in a nearly superhuman leap. If he does it right, it looks so effortless, the audience thinks I could do that. I see the fruits of your work only because I have the before picture. If I met you today, I wouldn't be able to see the effort because the results are real. The now Malcolm, the Malcolm who reflects thoughtfully and acts intentionally, that's you. We get praise in life for the dissertations and diplomas, the promotions and publications. Rarely are we credited for the hardest things. The tongue bitings and counting to 10, the letting it pass, the willing ourselves to stay when every fiber is calling us to flee or fight. Never for those battles that are most intensely our own. I have the honor to congratulate you today for your well-earned diploma and for all the hard, invisible work that made it possible. Congratulations, Malcolm Young.
Sophia, even during a pandemic, I was struck by how you never once faltered, at least outwardly, in your engagement in your classes. Throughout the entire time I have known you, you have been dependable, proactive, positive, motivated, and supportive of your friends. You have a remarkable, steadfast spirit. To echo what another teacher commented, I can't remember you ever not being willing and eager to learn. I was curious if your other teachers also noticed this, and their responses were, of course, affirming. I also found it amusing that all of your math and science teachers lamented that you weren't going into math and STEM careers, while all your performing arts teachers shared how calm and steady you are under pressure, what a leader you've become, and how deeply creative you are, which I've enjoyed seeing in your performances. The thread I see through all of these responses is your strength and confidence, sometimes quiet, other times louder, that show up in all the things that you've done and will only continue to grow in your theater arts program. Congratulations, Sophia.
I have known Elias since his sophomore year and seen him grow, mature, and flourish into a kind, considerate, funny, and most inquisitive deep thinker. I had the privilege of being his advisor junior year. Initially, Elias was socially reserved, keeping his thoughts to himself. Not knowing him, you might think he was disinterested or detached. But inside that head, the wheels were turning. In fact, he was observing the world analogous to Lewis Carroll's Through the Looking Glass. Elias was inquisitive and curious, always wondering and trying to understand the world around him. Together, we had wonderful, explorative conversations about how people and things worked, often laced with great laughs. Elias wrote a self-synopsis in physics that might best encapsulate his thinking. Quote, "My growth as a scientist in learning something new is being able to understand the things in everyday life that we don't actually see." I could not have put it better. I will miss you, my friend, and wish you the best of success. Congratulations, Elias Zuawi.